Yo, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's your boy Trevor David Jones back up at it. And it's time for another clutch episode of Ahsoka. Episode 3 titled Time to Fly. Man, this episode was dope. There's almost nothing more I can say, aka we're about to do a review. So without further ado, let's jump right into this very amazing episode with the positives. So it starts off with a training scene. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Shout out Dave Filoni. Shout out Jon Favreau. They know what to do. That was the subtitle of my first review. They know what to do. Because they do. We all like training in any sort of action or anything, along those lines. The training scenes are always like the dopest parts of the whole thing. And they delivered on it. How much better do you start an episode off than with like a legit training scene? So we're going to jump into what actually happened. Aside from the actual training, they give the droid the funniest lines in the series. They have so far. When he and Ren kind of finish up, he's like, not bad, but not good. Funny. That being said, toward the end of their little combo, he was starting to get like a little bit negative. They need to shut him down. They need to make him get quiet for a second. Ahsoka had like a little kind of odd line in there as well. They gave her a little crazy line. She's like, learning to wield the Force takes a deeper commitment to Ren. Ren goes, how? Perfectly legit. Ren has been doing some crazy actions this series so far, but that's a legitimate question. How? I bet. How do I get on that? Ahsoka goes, that's something you have to discover for yourself. Girl, then why'd you say that? What? Is this funny to you? This is a bizarre line. Funny. And shout out to Ahsoka again because I'm telling y'all, her expressions, Rosario Dawson's expressions, are just as much as part of the series as anything else. Just incredible. Her ability to say things while saying it, while also say things while not saying it, crazy. Pause the scene, just look at her expressions, look at her face, just amazing. A legitimate part of the series. So so Ren was training with the droid at first, going through the motions, learning some forms, some movements. At which point Ahsoka decides to get into the mix herself. This is where it gets kind of crazy. So they're training and while they're kind of, going back and forth, Ahsoka moves behind her, but at incredible speed, almost like a teleportation. That's what we want to see. Use of ability, use of powers. Obviously she used force speed, but to see it on screen like that, just implement it in that way, that's what you want to see when you're drink coffee on a, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, and you're watching the show, actual use of powers. That was so tight. She was over here. I almost spit my coffee out. When's the last time we saw force speed? Episode 1 with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. That's what we want to see. It was just sick. So I'm fully engrossed at this point. I'm like, yo, I didn't expect all this. This is tight. And the scene continues along. Now, on another note, when they first started training her and Ahsoka gives her the mask so she can train blind. Learn to obviously use the Force to block, dodge, hit anything without seeing. A basic, an integral part of Jedi combat. They can just do anything. They don't have to see you. It's it's the Force. So that part was kind of weird to me because that's shown to be one of the basic parts of training. They have the younglings with the mask on with the little circular droid hitting the bolts. Luke, when he first started training and they got on the ship, him, Obi-Wan, I believe they had already met Han Solo by that point. He was on the ship, training, blind, blocking the stuff. But one of the first things you do, Ren has a lightsaber, or had a lightsaber in her tower. She's known Ahsoka for a while. She's just getting to this part of her training. So I didn't watch Rebels. I'm not sure how far along Ren is in her training or what's really going on. But that's noted to be one of the basic parts of the whole scenario. So I was just wondering why she's getting to the blind blocking training. That's super basic. So just throwing that out there. Ahsoka's you need to be able to sense intention, which is tight, by the way. I was like, yo, you want some KCM Naruto type stuff? Sensing the emotions, the intentions behind people's movements? That's what's up. Overall, man, I could really go on and on about this, but it was a beautiful scene. It really was. It was a perfect way to start the episode, given you have no idea what's going to happen in the episode, let alone how it's going to start. And it's like, first of all, training scenes are always dope. And the scene itself was dope. So, like, it was good, man. It was really amazing. And it shows that they're really working on this show. So shout out to that. So now we cut over to the general, and she's reporting to the council like, hey, we know we've discovered this plot to beam Thrawn back to our galaxy, or in some way get in contact with Thrawn. We need some support. We need to put a stop to this. So she's talking to the chancellors, like all the, the governors, and trying to plead her case. And she looked like she was getting somewhere for a second, but her speech completely broke down. She started getting argumentative. It was kind of a weird scene. It was good, but it was like, why? She went from like just speaking logically to having an attitude real quick. It was, I don't know, maybe she could have got what she wanted. Who knows? But yeah, the result of that scene is they didn't get any support from the chancellors, from the government. So, ostensibly Ahsoka, the droid, Ren, they have to go it alone. Is it a problem for them? I mean, they have a Jedi on the squad, probably not, but that was the result of that scene. So now we cut back to Ahsoka and Ren and them, and I'm not gonna say that there are any plot holes in here, but let's say what happened. So they say in plain English that that Ren can't use the Force. Like, they say she can't use the Force. How are you a Padawan? Like, how are you training to be a Jedi then? I don't know why they said that. Then they go on to say, and then Ahsoka's like, everyone can use the Force. The Force is within everyone. And they've hinted at that, maybe kind of said it at many points during the Star Wars franchise, like, the Force runs through everybody. But Jedi, for whatever reason, well, we know why midichlorians are Force sensitive. So they can take it a lot further by doing these, like, outstanding actions. And for them to say that so casually, it almost felt like they were trying to rewrite episode 1 or rewrite, our idea of the Force, because it was just very like low key how they said that. They didn't mention nothing about no midichlorians, nothing. They're like, oh yeah, everybody can use the Force, blah, blah, blah. Like what are y'all getting at? You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of a crazy scene. And I'm not going to say it's a plot hole, that whole scene, because I wasn't really sure what they were trying to say. Like, it wasn't clear what was really happening. And again, I didn't watch Rebels, so there's stuff about Ren that I just literally don't know. So they hinted at some kind of crazy things. It was like a little like micro retcon. Drink coffee in its own way, but I'll have to wait and see, because it's not really clear what they were saying. And then they go on a little bit, and Ahsoka's like, I don't need her to be a Jedi. I just need her to be herself. Again, that line almost got flagged, almost put in a room for improvements for being a plot hole. What you mean you don't need her to be a Jedi? Then take that sword away from her. Get that mask off her. Like, my voice. She's going through Jedi training. What are you saying right now? So, a very strange line. And, it's like, just what are they getting at? But again, this is some wait and see type stuff. It's not quite plot hole level, so I got to see what they're actually talking about. Yeah, a little different, a kind of a strange scene, but we got to go on with that. But again, this puts it almost into the room for improvements. I don't know what they're trying to say about Ren and the Force, or the Force in general, but what I do know is that in episode 1, she fought a droid with her bare hands. She fought that droid. I was like, oh yeah, she can still use the Force. She can pull that off. How does she do that? What do you mean? What do you mean she can't use the Force? And the biggest smoking gun, she fought the white-haired chick, the other Sith, with a lightsaber in the first episode. I'm going to tell y'all something. Ren can use the Force. Like, don't be out here saying she can't use the Force. If you can't use the Force, you can't fight a Force user in combat at all. Okay? All the true Star Wars people out there, that they sense each other's auras, and if you're not at their level of the Force, they can just use telekinesis and just throw you off a cliff. Like, they don't even have to use a lightsaber. If your auras are similar strength, it's like, okay, we got to whip out the sabers. We actually have to squab. So someone who just can't use the Force, they'll just lay you out, just pin you to the ground. So she can use the Force. She fought a Sith with a lightsaber. Both of them. Okay? My voice. So I don't know what they were talking about. But again, there's a lot of stuff I just don't particularly know about Ren in particular. I do want to know what I've seen in the series so far, though. So I'm going to go into a holding pattern as of now to see what they're actually talking about. Because if not, if they're just like serious, it's at face value, then yeah, this is like, it's a massive plot hole, and it's deleting what they've already done in the series, not even one episode before. But again, let me see what they're talking about. So let's move on. All right, now up to the crowning moment of the episode, because that took up maybe about half the episode. Now we're up to the big leagues, the space battle. This is where things get insane. This is where things get crazy. All right. This is you know what? If you watch my review, you know one of my favorite words: advanced. It was advanced. Okay. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, they're on top of it. Like they're on top of the game, because this was some out there type stuff. All right. Let's jump in. So they already started. I like when they deliver on the premise of Star Wars, like battles in space. So they double down on that first of all. As Ahsoka, Ren, and the droid Huyang are going to the planet Cedos, they obviously the Sith have some defense, so they're trying to fight them off with starships in space. Just that scene was tight. I mean, Ren and Ahsoka trying to work together. Ren gets in the back of the cannon, and it was a good dogfight. It was good. Granted, I do like that they showed that. See, that's where it's kind of confusing. It's like, can Ren use the Force or not? But okay, they showed that Ren in this instance she was able to take out some of the other pilots once her and Ahsoka started working together. But like against the Sith chick, there's no way. Like, if you can't use the Force, you can't fight them, you can't hit them you're not going to win in a space battle, in a hand-to-hand battle, nothing. So I'm glad that they showed that, because Ren herself couldn't take out the Sith chick, which she would not be able to if she can't use the Force. But she did take out a couple of the other pilots. It was good. Just the movements were great. The cinematography, the effects, the sounds. It was a great starfight. I was impressed with it just by that. I was like, oh, this is tight, man. I just want to see some actual Star Wars. But then they didn't just double down. They Desi doubled down times 10 when Ahsoka stepped out onto that wing of that ship. Come on, man. That's when I was like, what year is it, 2023? Stuff is actually moving forward. Like, they're not resting on their laurels. We'll just do the same stuff we did before. Like, we'll do the same fights, blah, blah. No, we're going to do some different stuff. We're going to do some more advanced stuff. And it was crazy. Like, that was the last thing I expected to see at, X o'clock a.m. when I was watching this show. Ahsoka was like, I'll handle it. So, Reza, what are you talking about? She's like, I got it. So she puts on a spacesuit and just steps out onto the wing, a la Ren Palpatine. Anyways, a la Ren, about to fight a spaceship with her bare hands, like one-on-one. But she did, though. It was, the scene was superlative on top of superlative. It was just crazy. The moment that Ahsoka stepped out there and lit them lightsabers up, ignited them, the beams came out, I was like, man, this is some different type stuff. She was like, I'm just about to do this. The music, it had the Japanese influence. It was just crazy. So this is, just when you thought Jedi couldn't get any more invulnerable, we've already seen, by this point, a lot of different stuff. Luke versus the droids. We saw, Ren, she didn't completely win that situation, but she did cut, Kylo Ren's ship. That was pretty cool. If you really think about that, that was tight. Not a Jedi, but a Force user, Darth Vader on the ship in Rogue One. We've seen all sorts of crazy stuff. You're like, okay, you can't do anything to Jedi. She steps out into the wing and solos a starfighter in space. There's no gravity in space, toward the planet, but that's not what we're talking about. I was like, okay. I already knew you can't do anything to a Jedi. You just listen to the rest of this review, the previous parts of this review, to hear my thoughts on Jedi. I already knew that. But I'm like, okay, they're even more invincible than I even thought. She was standing there like, okay. And she did. She just sliced the wing up with like an aerial cartwheel and just like, Man, yeah, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, all of them, the whole crew, everybody, they just be in there with the recipes. They're writing the recipes. They're making the recipes. Got the bowls, got the pots, got the stove, it's cooking up. Stir fry, like on the stove, my G's. It was crazy. There's nothing bad you can say about it. Like, it was just crazy. And another funny but also awesome part of the space wing, but also the whole scene, was Ahsoka's confidence. It was hilarious, but it was also dope. So after she pulls off what is, without question, one of the tightest things I've seen in all of Star Wars, the aerial, the cut, it was all while being in space. It was just amazing. She's like on the mic talking to Ren. Is the ship fixed yet? Like, having like a regular conversation. Like, she didn't just do one of the dopest things in Star Wars history. And then also it was funny when they were initially in the battle, getting fired upon by multiple enemy craft. She was like, you got that scan done yet? Like, you about the ring? They were like, we're thinking about other stuff. Ahsoka's like, I'm not, like, her confidence throughout that whole scene was just, it was hilarious, but it was meant to be that way. You know how Jedi are. This ain't gonna end badly for me. I got this. Like, but the thing is, I actually got this though. And yeah, watch that scene again and just listen to Ahsoka's lines and the self-assurance, the confidence she delivers it's awesome, but it's also funny, and it's meant to be. Another great part of the scene. So, yes. At this point, I'm like on cloud nine. I'm going crazy. I'm like, yo, I've just seen some of the dopest stuff ever in Star Wars. Like, this is almost unbelievable. I'd almost like lost track of time. I didn't know how much time the episode had left in it. I didn't know what was going on anymore. So I was just like literally strapped in for the ride, like enjoying the ride. So they enter the atmosphere, and then you see this giant shape, and I'm like, oh my God. That's why I know Jon Favreau's on the squad. What have I said before? Scale and beauty. Whenever you get Jon Favreau involved, you're going to see scale and beauty, and that's what we saw here. They run up on some Purgles, okay? The Purgles, which I learned is the true name of those hyperspace squids. They actually had them in The Mandalorian, but I learned recently that they originated in Rebels. So I came upon that knowledge. Insane. The scene was just, it was crazy. It was hard to even comprehend what I was watching, because this is right after the battle. So, again, I didn't watch Rebels. That was the fifth time I said that. I didn't watch it, but, the Purgles played a key element in that show, up to and in helping Ren and Ezra and her crew defeat Thrawn. Like, that actually happened in the show. So, that was the last time Ren saw Ezra. So people who watch that, this isn't the first time. It's like a callback. For me, it was just an amazing thing to see. So the Purgles are flying through the sky, just like going crazy. Actually, yeah, for me, it's like a payoff for Mandalorian, because they were in the scene. So that's my thought process going into this. But I know where they come from. So they're flying through the sky, and I'm just like, this is just dope, just on its own. And they help them win the battle, because they just get in the way. They're gigantic doesn't sum it up. They're legitimately gargantuan, just like bigger than Earth whales, way bigger than blue whales, which is saying a lot. They are enormous, like on another scale. So they help them win the battle, because Ren's able to fly between them and blah blah blah, and they get out of the way of the Sith girl and all them. But just seeing that was it was beautiful. Yeah, they just know how to capture beauty and how to put it out there, how to show it. Just an amazing scene. So, but somewhere toward the end of their battle, Hu Yang just shut down. Like, his circuits couldn't handle it. It was too much excitement, so he just shut down. Right after they get past the Purgles and land on the ground, Hu Yang conveniently wakes back up. He was like, did I miss anything? They're like, oh, we saw some Purgles. He was like, cool. Hu Yang is both extremely useful and extremely useless. I'm going to say that again. Hu Yang is both, he's extremely useful. He's a 500-year-old droid. He knows probably everything about the Jedi, you would think. He should be able to do all the things a droid can do, like hack into stuff, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he should have, hacked the memory circuits of the droid in the second episode, but whatever. So, but he's also extremely useless. He couldn't solve the puzzle. He's asleep at the most inconvenient time. Like, yeah. Just kind of a hilarious. He hasn't gotten to the point of being like a true nuisance. You know what I mean? But he needs to sleep with one eye open. They might have to disassemble him. But before he did pass out, he did completely scan the ring. And it wasn't no whack scan. It was an awesome scan. He got all the information they needed. It was a great scan. Figured out the size of it, the technology, the hyperspace. It was a great scan. He got what they needed him to get. So that was cool. And, you know, they were able to decipher to figure out that, of course, the hyperdrive that they absconded, the Sith absconded from that other planet from, of course, they're going to put it in here. And he was able to deduce that, yeah, they have the power to move something from another galaxy with this hyperspace ring. Pretty powerful. And along, they're going to use established intergalactic pathways, hyperspace pathways that the Purgles take. Man, I like that. I really like that because it had an actual element of reality in a very, you know, fantastical show. You know, that's why that witch and all them are there in that planet is specifically to study the pathways of the Purgles so they can get a hyperspace lane to beam in through. I like stuff like that. It was like real in the sense of what you would actually do if you were in that situation. Like, oh, they're not just on this planet because the scenery or it looks beautiful. Like, no, the Purgles, the hyperspace pathways, they're gonna observe those to figure out, you know. I thought that was awesome. Like, I love things like that in any show. So it was cool. It was real cool. Very intelligent. Just a great element of the show. So at this point, the episode is just about to come to a close, and we cut to the Sith Master of the blonde chick, and man, he's looking depressed, bro. He's looking upset. And you know why? He knows. He tried to tell the witch. He was like, no, we done messed up. They got the tracker. A Jedi knows where they are. I mean, Ahsoka's on the planet at this point. She's there. It's a wrap. And he knows that they're in trouble. In Jedi and Sith, it ain't no like, oh, I'm gonna catch you in jail. It's a death battle. Death battle. Like it's a duel to the grave. You know what I'm saying? So he said, man, just shout out to the actor because he conveyed it very well. He was just like, this is it. I tried to tell that witch, but we'll see if we can get thrown. Who knows what's about to happen? But it's probably gonna end in our defeat. So yeah. And say what you will, Ahsoka could probably she could take both of them at once, the master and the apprentice. But you know, calling in Luke. Come on, man. It's over. It's literally over. So that's it. The actor did a great job of showing, you know, without saying anything. They were on his face for a while without saying anything, exactly what type of predicament they're in. And that brought the episode to a close. Amazing episode. I could go on and on, but it was legitimately amazing. Room for improvement. Only two things. The recap title at the beginning when they recapped the episode, it was like it was brought in straight from The Mandalorian. Maybe they're trying to, you know, bring back memories to The Mandalorian. Obviously, Jon Favreau created that show, but, you know, it'd be good to see something a little different, just a little different. So that's one thing. And the 30-minute runtime, yeah. The first two episodes were very long. The first one was like 50-something minutes. The second one was like 40-something. And it's just like getting shorter. Y'all know I don't like that. You know, kind of balance the times or whatever. 30 minutes, that's just too short. You know, like they did pack a lot into this 30-minute episode because it seemed a lot longer than what the runtime would suggest. It really did, but that's just too short. So that's another room for improvement. The rating, a 7 out of 5. Yeah, a 7 out of 5. This is the first time any show has broken my scale in a while since My Hero Academia, and that wrapped up in May, bro. It's August. It's about to be September. So, you know, almost a strong 4 months. No show has broken the scale. This episode broke the scale. A 7 out of 5. Easy. It was already dope just because. The training scene, I was like, yo, this is tight, bro. This is what you want to see, some training. Ahsoka doing that like quick movement over here, like crazy stuff. The cinematography is obviously all there. The pacing, flawless. The acting, flawless. Rosario Dawson, on fleek. Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. I was already going to give it a 5 out of 5. But two things drug it over the edge. The space battle, and specifically Ahsoka getting out on that wing and going solo combat style against that starfighter. instantaneous 6 out of 5. I was like, nah, other shows ain't doing stuff like this. They're just not. So that put it above the scale off top. I was like, okay, a 6 out of 5. Nothing's broken the scale in a while. This is awesome. Where can we go from here? Then those Purgles, 7 out of 5. In no way, shape, or form expected that. It was such a magnificent scene, and it was just awesome. There ain't nothing bad you can say about that. In fact, it's the polar opposite. It was amazing. So yeah. Shout out to an episode breaking the scale. Hasn't happened since My Hero Academia, obviously a legendary show. So man, this is some real good stuff. They broke their foot off in this. Stellar, amazing episode. There we go. And that's it. Man. Let's get it. Ahsoka, I mean, I was excited going into this because of the trailer, and it, like I said in my trailer reaction, it's some Jedi action. That's what we want to see. When's the last time we saw some actual Jedi fighting? Episode 9? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But either way, it's some lightsaber action. So I was already hyped. You know, that's what we truly want to see in the Star Wars series. And, you know, we already knew we were getting that here. I was already excited, but this is going, it's going beyond that, which is saying a lot. So yeah, definitely dope. Check out my review of episodes 1 and 2 last week. They got the series off to a great start. Check out what I thought about those. Most recently, my death battle reaction. We had the Martian Manhunter, John Jones versus Silver Surfer, Norrin Rad. Great death battle. Awesome animation. I picked the Silver Surfer to win. Check out the reaction. See who won. Go watch that. And man, that's it. You know we out here. You know we flexing on the YouTube game. We ain't never stopping. We always doing it big. That's what we do forever, okay? We ain't stopping. We out here. Like I always say, because I genuinely mean it. Stay up. Never want to be this way in life. Can't be this way in life. Stay up. And until I see y'all in the next one, which will be very soon, you know we out here. I ain't gonna make you wait too long. Let's do this. Oh, Rosario Dawson. Oh, my chest, a little dusty in here. Peace!